Welcome to A Leader's Journey, the podcast for leaders who deeply believe there is a better way to lead and desire to create their unique journey towards becoming a legacy leader. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond. Over the last 20 years as a corporate leader and leadership performance coach, I've learned that many leaders believe there is a predefined path they have to follow and struggle leaning into their unique gifts that will create lasting impact and fulfillment. They end up feeling stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled in the day-to-day of their role, and are challenged with why, since they have experienced success in their career and in life. I'm here to help leaders think through their leadership journey, learn how to ask themselves better questions, and learn the formula to create their leadership journey by design. If you are ready to design your unique leadership journey, lead with confidence, and love the teams you lead, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. Hello, my friends and fellow leaders. I'm glad to have you back here with me this week on the podcast. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so happy that you are here. I know that your time is valuable, and I'm grateful that you have chosen to spend some of it here with me. This week on the podcast, I wanted to talk about creativity and having fun in leadership. We focus so much on the learning, the studying, and the business part of leadership, which is super important and critical aspects of being a leader. Yet there is also a side of leadership that we can't lose sight of, and that's the creativity and the fun that does exist in leadership and being a leader. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I didn't always believe in this. It wasn't something that I saw as important, and to me, I actually saw it as the exact opposite. Early in my leadership career, I saw it as something that was wasting time, that was taking away from the business and was detrimental to a leader's growth, because all I saw in them was that they were not taking their role seriously when they were having fun and being creative. Now, I loved being creative, whether it was painting, paper crafting, puzzles, Legos, you name it. I loved and still do love doing craft projects. And growing up as a kid at home, we did them all the time because my mother was very artsy and creative. And that was an easy way for her to occupy the attention of 3 young kids all at the same time. To me, though, that was an outside of work activity, not something that was done during business hours. I really struggled to see the correlation between leadership and creativity early on. As I've grown in my leadership, my perspectives have shifted, and so will yours. As we grow as individuals, we gain new experiences which shape new perspectives for us. This happens in all of life, not just leadership. If you really think about it, there are many things that you believed in your teenage years or early 20s that as an adult, you don't believe the same thing anymore, or you look at it just a little bit differently. It's normal, and it's part of growing up. I was starting to see where my outside creativity or my creativity outside of work could be brought into the workplace and the positive impact that it could have on my leadership and the people around me. And let me share an example of that with you. So several years back, in partnership with a team member one year, we were discussing how we could elevate an anniversary board that we had in the lunchroom. So in our lunchroom, every month, the names of team members who started that month, they were listed on this tech board, along with their years of service with the organization. It was a really great concept and really did help celebrate each individual, yet it was falling flat and people were no longer paying attention or excited about it. The designs and decorations, or lack thereof at that point, they were not catching people's eye like they should have been. And they were starting to get boring and outdated. Now, the career board, it really was motivation for others when they saw individuals with higher tenure that were listed on there, because that is something that they desired. It sparked a lot of conversations amongst team members about their roles, how they found success, and most importantly, who they were as a person outside of work. Because oftentimes they would see names on there that were for people who didn't work in their department. So they didn't know who they were, yet they saw them out because it was their anniversary that month, or maybe they were celebrating a milestone anniversary like 5, 10, 15, or 20 years. In our industry, there were also many people who were mothers of young children, and that helped spark some conversation and idea sharing about how they can balance home with work and how you can have a successful career and still be present as a parent. It allowed individuals to get to know the people that didn't work in their direct department, who they were outside of work and what their career path was, which really did help give new perspectives on future opportunities, especially for people who were newer to the organization. And seeing that there was a lack of engagement, and some people didn't even notice it when they would walk into the lunchroom during their lunch break anymore, we knew we had to make a change, and one that was going to really be fun, inspiring, and impactful, because we wanted to bring back the excitement that had previously been there about the anniversary board. Now, through some collaboration and creativity, we were able to bring life back to recognizing the professional accomplishments of our coworkers. We incorporated themes that maybe aligned with major holidays that happened that month or fun holidays. One month we did hot air balloons. So we made little baskets out of paper and put an actual balloon in it. So they were hot air balloons. We had pencil holders and a variety of different things. One of the things that we really tried to do is make sure that we could make as many of them three-dimensional. So it could be something that people could easily display at their desks. Now, keep in mind, this was back at a time before remote work existed, and we were in the office 5 days a week. So most people had a dedicated desk that they had personal items at, so they could have reminders of what was important to them outside of work in the office, and other people got to know them. In the changes that we made, it really did revitalize the energy in the office around the anniversary board. People were excited to see the theme for the new month. They would make special trips to go into the lunchroom when we were putting it up, because we did it on the first calendar day of every month, or the first business day of every month, I should say. They wanted to know when we were going to be taking it down, because they wanted to be able to display the item at their desk. And if they were going to be on PTO maybe that week, they wanted to know if they could have it early. And it really did reignite the conversations that were so important for our office and our culture at that time. We started to see that it also drove innovation within my individual department, not just for me, but for my team members. Because we were tapping into that level of creativity, we all started thinking differently with greater energy, and it really did shift the attitude and the excitement that was happening within the team. It was an incredible experience, and that's when really a lot of it started to click for me, and I started to see where creativity and fun and leadership really does help drive the business and is a key part of being a leader. When you're being creative and having fun in leadership, because it truly is fun and you are enjoying it, it really does have those positive impacts on the business. Now, today I'm going to share with you 4 different areas of work and leadership that if you were to incorporate creativity and fun, it would have a direct impact on them within your individual team, maybe within your department, or even across your entire organization. So let's dive in. The first one is motivation. And this one might seem pretty obvious, right? When you are having creative activities or you're having fun, it gets people talking and excited about the work that they are doing. They look forward to coming into work. They look forward to connecting with their peers. It breaks up kind of the monotony of your work day and really does motivate people to work hard when is necessary, because they know that there's going to be an opportunity to have fun at some point and to kind of relax and enjoy their work. So it does really help drive a lot of motivation and engagement. The second area of work that creativity and fun impacts is your innovation. In my example, I shared a little bit about that, but when you start incorporating creativity and fun, it starts to drive new ideas and perspectives, and it builds that innovative mindset, not just for big ideas, but for the little things that happen throughout the day that you probably just overlook because it's so routine. Yet, if they were done more effectively or with more fun, they would have big impacts on your team. And when you start tapping into those creative muscles, it does shift some things in your brain that generates those ideas and allows you to be more innovative. I can tell you for myself, when I don't have something creative that I'm working on, no matter how big or small it is, whether it is coloring, doing a Lego set, maybe a paint by number kit, I notice that I don't generate as many new ideas. And so, really stepping into that creative aspect of it does allow me to be more innovative and start looking at things within not just my work, but even in my personal life, just a little bit differently. And how can I approach them to really get the result that I'm looking for? All right, the third area, and this one I know is a hot topic amongst leaders and business owners, and that is reducing stress and enhancing well-being of your staff. When we were in the office full time, one of the things that I had done in my office was I had a coloring page that was taped to my desk and a set of colored pencils that sat right next to it. So when people would come into my office, maybe stressed about an issue or concerned about something that had come up, I would have them sit down at my desk and I invited them to color while they told me about my concern. Now, at first, some people looked at me like I had two heads and they were confused because they had work to do. They came in to my office for a specific reason. They needed the answer to their question. They were feeling frenzied. They just wanted the answer and to be able to get back to work. Um, some people really embraced the coloring. They would see it and it would be intriguing and it would kind of stop them in the middle of their question. And they would just sit down and naturally color. And for others, it did have to be that invitation. One of the things that I noticed, though, as more people embraced the coloring, they started to see how it helped them be less stressed about their work or that particular issue. And as they were coloring and we were talking through their question or the challenge that they had, many of them came up with their solution on their own because they found themselves in that more relaxed state and they could think more clearly. I also found that there were some people that would just naturally come and want to sit down just to color for a couple minutes or color one particular section of the coloring sheet because they just needed a break from their work. So it really did help, I would say, enhance their well-being. Also, the relationship that I had with different people in the office, not just my direct team members. I would have people from other departments that would come in and want to sit down and color or check it out, right? Because they heard, do you really have a coloring book at your desk? It's like, yes, yes, I do. Now, from that same place, I also do feel like that creativity in the workplace really does help with emotional intelligence because as you are being creative, and we'll just continue to lean on the example of coloring at my desk, it's really helping people explore their own emotions, especially when they are stressed or overwhelmed. They can identify those emotions more quickly. They know what that feeling starts to feel like before it gets to its peak, and they can get ahead of it because they know that it's coming because they know how it starts to generate in their body. So leveraging that creativity to really enhance well-being has been something that is important to me and something that I have seen over the years, the direct impact that that has on employees. All right, the last area is improving communication skills. Now, when you're leaning into that creativity, it can allow you to use that skill of being creative to communicate with others. even if it's not a complete skill for you. When you're able to paint a visual picture for somebody, many people can see that more clearly. And it's a great way to be able to clearly communicate maybe something that's on your mind. So if you're someone that struggles with words, yet you know how to draw it out, and drawing it out helps you communicate it more clearly, that's a great way to do that. I know for myself that there are many times when if somebody's trying to explain something to me, I have them share their screen because then I will sometimes be able to need to see how they are connecting the dots to understand their thought process better. It helps me connect the dots of what it is that they are doing. And one of the things that I have found is that leaning into that creativity, whether it's sharing screens or writing something down on a piece of paper, it really can allow you to clearly communicate something that is complex in a simplified and engaging way. Most people are visual learners. They need to see things to understand them. And being able to tap into that creativity does help us improve our communication skills because we're learning how to communicate with a larger variety of people and in a way that works best for potentially the person that we're communicating with and in a way that works best for ourselves. All right, those are the 4 areas that we are going to talk about today. And while I've only shared with you those 4 that impact the workplace, there are so many more. And I'm sure that you can think of different ways when you look back how creativity has had a positive impact on your team or on yourself. I want to encourage you to really look at the areas in your team, in your organization, and in your individual leadership that might be feeling a little stale or complacent, or where you are not feeling the energy that you desire, and start exploring how bringing in something creative or fun could shift that in the direction that you are looking. You just might surprise yourself and revitalize a key area of your leadership journey that has great impacts not only for you, but for those around you. All right, I appreciate you tuning in again this week and spending some of your time with me. I hope that you found this valuable and that you are really inspired to bring creativity into your leadership. Until next time, my fellow leaders, lead with confidence and show up every day as the leader you are striving to be. Thanks for listening to A Leader's Journey podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're excited to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in next week for another exciting leadership lesson. I'd love to help you level up your leadership, achieve the goals you desire, and design your unique leadership journey. So click the link in the show notes to schedule a free Level Up Your Leadership session. During this time, we will define where you are in several key areas of leadership, where you desire to be, and how you can level up your leadership. You don't need to do this alone, so let's chat today and get your journey started. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or in the A Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and share this episode with another leader so we can all learn and grow together. That's all for this episode, and I'll see you next week. Until then, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year.